Hello students, so in this video we will be discussing important current affairs for AWS S3 bucket. Let's start. The first question asked here is, what is the maximum file size limit for uploading the objects to AWS S3? So what is the maximum size? It is 5 TB, right? And remember, AWS S3, they allow uploading objects of up to 5 TB in size. This is the maximum file size limit for a single upload operation. And if you need to upload larger files, you can use AWS S3's multi-part upload feature, right, which allows you breaking up down large files into smaller parts of up to 10,000 parts and then upload them separately. Correct? So for uploading larger files, you can use AWS 3's feature of multi-part, which will break down the file into multiple parts up to 10,000 parts. So right option C. Next, which of the following storage class in AWS S3 is designed for infrequently accessed data? It is your S3 S3 infrequent access. That is infrequent access. Option B is right here. This S3 infrequent access, that is IA, is a storage class that has been designed for storing less frequently accessed data, such as your backups, such as your archives, or data that requires long-term retention but is not frequently retrieved. So S3IA, it provides cost-effective storage while maintaining high durability and availability. So right option here is S3IA feature is a storage class in AWS 3 that has been designed specifically for infrequently accessed data. Next, what is the purpose of AWS S3 bucket policies? So the main purpose of S3 bucket policies is to manage access permissions for S3 objects. So option A is right here. Here these bucket policies, these are the JSON documents. They define the access permissions for the S3 objects. They allow you to control access or specify buckets or objects. They set the permissions for various users, groups or roles. They define conditions for the IP address, time of the day. Then they will enable the or disable the bucket level features such as your versioning or logging. So we can say bucket policies, they provide fine-grained control over the access to your S3 resources. Next, which AWS service integrates with S3 to provide automatic server-side encryption? It will be your AWS KMS. KMS here stands for Key Management, or AWS KMS here stands for Key Management System or Key Management Service. Correct? So AWS KMS, that is your AWS Key Management Service, it will integrate with S3 bucket to provide automatic server-side encryption. When this is enabled, AWS KMS, it will generate managed encryption keys. This will encrypt the objects as they are uploaded to S3, and this will ensure the data confidentiality and meets the regulatory requirements. So key management service, this is to provide automatic service-side encryption. Next, what is the benefit of using AWS 3 versioning? So what is the benefit of it? So this will be providing the ability to recover the deleted objects, right? So what is this versioning, S3 versioning? Basically, it will allow us to recover the deleted objects. This will help us to track the changes to the objects, maintain a history of the objects and their updates. Also will enable rollback feature to provide the rollback. Basically, when there is an update and you don't want that update, there is an error in this and you want to roll back to the previous version of it, this versioning this allows it. So we can say it allows us the ability to recover the deleted objects and also the feature of rollback. This is important. Next is, how does AWS S3 handle the data inconsistency? So how does it handle it? It is because of the read after write consistent feature. As AWS 3 ensures read after write consistency, this means that after writing the data to S3, subsequent reads will return the updated data and the data is immediately available for reading after writing. And here consistency is guaranteed across all the S3 locations. So this will ensure the data integrity as well as accuracy. Next, which S3 feature allows you to host static websites? So it is S3 static website hosting. correct? This allows us to host static websites directly from the S3 buckets here. So there are certain benefits of it, right? As this will serve us a static content that will include your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, images, and so on. This will also support the custom domains and SSL certificates. This feature will eliminate the need for the additional web servers that will be required. Next, what is the purpose of AWS S3 lifecycle policies? So what is the feature of it? This will help us to transition objects to Glacier, right? So lifecycle policies, they automate the management of S3 objects throughout their lifecycle. Here, the policies that we are talking about, they can transition objects to Glacier for long-term archival storage. They can delete objects after a specific period, and they can also update the storage classes. And this will in turn reduce the storage cost. Next, how does AWS S3 charge for storage? So S3, they charge per GB per month, correct? I repeat, per GB per month is the method of charging here, correct? And it depends upon the storage class, whether it is a standard IA or Glacier. Then it depends upon the region, the data transfer, and so on. Next is, which AWS service provider detailed logging for S3 bucket access? It is AWS S3 access logging. Here remember, both AWS S3 server access logging and AWS Cloud Trail, they provide detailed logging for S3 bucket access. So option A is also right, and option D, that is AWS Cloud Trail and AWS S3 service access logging, they both provide detailed logging for S3 bucket access, correct? This S3 server, they access logging logs bucket level access, such as your commands used here is put, get, or delete. And this Cloud Trail, they logs API calls including the S3 bucket access across all the AWS services. And these logs that we are talking about here, they will help with security auditing, compliance, and troubleshooting purposes. So that's all for the day, students. We will be continuing such daily based questions that will help you in your AWS journey.